In this video I died 100 times in the Hardest Minecraft Modpack. You might be wondering, what is the Hardest Modpack? Well, RLCraft. This modpack is so hard that it's even hard to survive more than 10 minutes. I can talk a lot more about this crazy modpack, but I'll spare you guys the time. Also, there are 3 Easter eggs hidden in this video. If you find one and be the first to comment the timestamp of one of the eggs, you will get $5 PayPal. But let's get right into the video. I spawned in a desert and the first weird structure appeared in front of my eyes. I saw a creeper spawn from one of the spawners, so I left. After a little while, some hostile mobs targeted me and flooded me with arrows. I managed to escape and went in a village to find some loot, but a Youst 2 hit me and I died. And this wasn't going to be my last death. In this attempt, I managed to survive a lot longer than first. Everything looked pretty peaceful, so I was happy. I was going to get some more wood. Or so I thought. I had no clue why it wasn't breaking, so I kept exploring to find some useful things that I was able to use. I heard wings and thought it was a bird or something, so I minded my own business. But little did I know it was a dragon. When I checked my inventory, I found a skills button. I clicked on it and it showed me a couple of upgradable skills. I had no idea how to get them and just mashed some random buttons in order to maybe get an extra skill. And yeah, that didn't really work. After that, I looked up how to get wood on the internet and saw I needed flint and sticks, so I broke some gravel in order to get some flint. I got 1 flint and now tried to get sticks, but some weird frog gave me the poison effect. I ran for my life and I actually managed to escape it. I then saw some weird flying fairy creatures who were just, doing their own thing, and I tried to kill them since they might drop some good loot I could use. I eventually found a house I could possibly live in, but it sucked, so I tried to get some wood from there, which also wasn't possible. I tried to break it, but it didn't drop anything. Then out of a sudden everything got really blurry and I had no clue what the frick was going on. I saw some huge green dinosaurs and then something hit me. I had no clue what it was. I ran into the house, but that also didn't go very well. This was maybe one of my lamest deaths ever. My third attempt went amazing. I respawned underwater, swam up and noticed it was nighttime. Almost immediately I got attacked by a scorpion guy, then got taken by a pelican, and not very long after this incident got killed by a Youst. At this rate, I was never going to survive. In this attempt, I somehow died even quicker. I couldn't see anything, so I turned up the brightness, which actually helped a ton. I saw some other new stuff like a well and giant dinosaurs who destroyed my eardrums. And then I got 2-shotted by a skeleton. So I searched on Google what the droplet bar at the bottom right was and how to fill it, and some other basic stuff, and continued. I managed to survive for more than 5 minutes, which is really impressive considering my Minecraft skills. So as you can see, I found a desert village and thought that this was the turning point. I would find a bed, get some good loot and actually have a respawn point. The loot was rather crappy. I found books written by some, poet or something, and some other books. But at least I got a bed and slept. I thought I was going to be respawning here every time I died now and was pretty happy. I explored the village a little, tried getting some food, and I wanted to actually make some progress, so I went looking for some flint. I then found a desert temple and other weird structures and I decided to check it out. This time it didn't go very well, because some wave creatures were in the temple and I had to retreat, so I wouldn't die. Those wave things kept following me for like 2 minutes, and you probably are wondering why they stopped following me after 2 minutes. Well, they killed me. I still respawned when I died for the 5th time and wanted to retrieve my stuff, which didn't go that well. I immediately died by some mobs spitting fire. After this death, I decided I should move my bed to somewhere else. I didn't like the village because there wasn't a whole lot to do and it had some dangerous mobs surrounding it, so I was going to search for a new and more interesting village. I discovered some food before moving, which was really good. After a bit of traveling, I actually did find another village. But when I wanted to check some chests, a horde of yows attacked me. I quickly put down my bed so I had a respawn point and hoped it was not too late. But it obviously was. The recording was buggy this time and I failed to record my 8th death, but I made the most progress in that attempt so far. I got 2 tools after like 10 minutes and then died to a dragon. I sadly didn't have a respawn point after death 8 and spawned in the worst biome you could possibly be in, the jungle. I was getting some sticks by breaking tree leaves, did some epic parkour, and then got some gravel to make some tools. After I got flint shards, I made my first tool on camera and broke some grass to make a hatchet. I got some wood by breaking down a tree, broke the wood again, but nothing happened. I searched on the internet how to fix this, but by the time I noticed I had to right click on the wood, it already got dark. Nevertheless, I made a crafting table, located the house with a chest, and it was going pretty smooth. I wanted to get some more wood and found a better looking house, so I ran to that house, but eventually got killed by a super quick and speedy zombie with purple fire around it. I respawned in a desert and walked into a house near my spawn. I wasn't so sure if the door was supposed to look like that, but okay. There wasn't anything in the house and I left. I dodged an arrow and wanted to walk to that village over there, but the skeleton sadly got me. I actually died in 10 seconds at death 11. I spawned at the bottom of an ocean and got hit by some weird sea creature. I literally couldn't do anything about this death. I ran for my life after I respawned this time. It was nighttime and I desperately needed to find a bed. I found another house which wasn't a success, but then I found a tipi hut or something with a bed in it. The next day I woke up and found some weird stuff like umbrium ingots. I kept them in the chest since I didn't want to lose those resources. There were still like a bazillion creatures outside that I didn't know about, and I actually had no clue what to do next at all. My knowledge was still basically zero. I got some sand, found leather armor which I could put on, and I felt a little bit safer. I killed my first enemy and I was feeling great. After a couple of minutes I got my first tools and saw that thing that gave me health, so I healed up. I was getting thirsty again and was going to drink some water, but the skeleton shot me and I died. Okay, I really didn't trust bats anymore after my latest death. I don't know why I wasn't respawning and was really mad and confused. I thought I was nearby my tipi hut, since I was in a forest with a battle tower, but when I took a closer look, I knew I was wrong. I had lost everything. After this discovery, I explored for like 4 minutes and eventually found some structure. I don't know what was wrong with me, but I got some gravel underwater and drowned while having a lag spike. This time it seemed I had some more luck. I found a ginormous house with a ton of wheat and obviously checked it out. I found the entrance and almost got in before I got stuck in a freaking piece of wheat. I actually thought there was an earthquake and just wanted to get inside the house. After like 1 minute I got out and went inside the structure. I almost got stuck in a torch again, but that luckily didn't happen this time. I didn't really like the house since there weren't any beds, so I checked out the village in front of it, but after checking some houses, I didn't find anything. I wanted to go to the next house, but a bird picked me up and slaughtered me. I got another terrible spawn point with a crap ton of skeletons who could one-shot me, so that wasn't really great. I saw another house, and this was the house I could stay in for the rest of the entire game until death 100. But I didn't know that and checked out the house. Before this death I also googled why I wasn't respawning, and my bed happened to be surrounded by blocks, so I wasn't able to spawn. The house had some really good early game loot, and I was half leather armor. I grabbed a bed and put it in the middle of the second floor since I really didn't want to lose my respawn point this time. I found a bow and some more arrows and wanted to slay some mobs with this bow. I needed skill points for it, so I put it back inside a chest and went outside to make some tools. I almost finished making a hatchet when I got the levitation effect by some grey monsters. The golden nymph was pretty clutch, but I sadly died after a while to those flippin' wave mobs who killed me. I finally respawned in my bed for one of the first times, and it felt great. I found an unhealthy amount of food on the second floor and had a food supply forever. I wanted to retrieve some stuff, but a giant blue thing was still there. I had no choice to leave my stuff and get new tools. After I had made my tools, I made a crafting table, which I put in my room and tried making some sticks, which also didn't work. I couldn't get out of my house since that blue thing somehow tracked me and was near my door, so I put everything inside a chest in case I would die. My next step was mining some stone without a wave monster seeing me, which didn't really go as planned. I fist fought it, but it had way too much health, so I died. I learned from my mistakes and didn't fight it anymore after my previous death. I got my leather helmet back and went to sleep. I wasn't able to, and then a reaper spawned from my bed out of nowhere and I got jump scared in this game for the first time. I actually didn't do much after this since I couldn't sleep and was surrounded by a dinosaur and some other creatures. The only thing I did was mine some stone by making a hole in my house. I even failed to do that since it got too dark for my liking and I retreated. I went upstairs to find some more loot and actually hit the jackpot. I found books with good enchantments and healing, which I thought was really good. I finally got the Stone Age achievement after 16 deaths, which is pretty sad if you think about it like that, but it at least was something, you know. I made a stone pickaxe and it already was morning again. I was thirsty, so went to the pool near my house, but a tiger attacked me and I had nowhere to go. I found some random nether quartz laying on the ground when I got back and retrieved my leather armor. I was checking another room that I didn't check before, but a creeper almost exploded in front of my face, so I wasn't going inside there anymore. I put a sand I mined before in the furnace to get some glass, since I heard that I needed water bottles to store water in case I went exploring or something. I made the water bottles and filled them with water. I cooked them so I could get purified water, which wouldn't give me the thirst effect, and upgraded the skill level for the first time. I was going to mine some coal for some torches, but a giant rock spawned from an ore and I almost got killed. This is still the scariest thing that could happen to me in the entire game, I swear. I still couldn't wear chain armor, so I guess that would be my next goal. I was checking if the blue monster was still aggro to me, and I tried to kill it for no reason again, which backfired immediately. I made a farm to grow some wheat and get food, so I made myself a stone hoe and planted some crops. It was nighttime again and I couldn't sleep since there were monsters nearby, like always. I didn't want to do nothing, so I moved some stuff from upstairs to my chest. I leveled up another skill and checked out all of the new mobs. I got rank 1 of the cobbled and had no idea what it meant, but I guess that was cool. I noticed I was hurt and used the bandage to heal myself since I couldn't use the advanced medications, and after a short period of time, it was finally morning and I got some more seeds that I could use to make a bigger farm. A horde of zombies followed me. Even a zombie with rainbow particles which showed a boss bar, but of course a skeleton appeared out of nowhere and immediately killed me. Attempt 20 happened rapidly. I retrieved my stuff while a skeleton was shooting at me and I ran back home. I wanted to get some more wood for more storage, so I climbed up a hill, but a skeleton sneaked up on me and killed me. I somehow had the morphine effect when I checked my health. Well, I was grabbing some stuff and was going to get some more tools and stuff. I noticed that there was a flame in my screen, which probably meant I was burning. I was going indoors since I didn't know what would happen if the fire stayed there for a longer time, but I eventually got hyperthermia. Staying in home didn't work, so I stepped in some water, in which I actually cooled down. When I went inside my house, there randomly was a skeleton who one-shotted me. I really hate those guys. After I died, I tried to retrieve my stuff again, but immediately died to the armored skeleton again. This time I was checking if he was still there, and he was still there. I was trying to lure him into the hallway so I could grab my stuff, but that didn't really work. After a minute, he headshotted me again. I died for the 24th time, trying to get my stuff back again, when I thought he was actually gone. He had some weird sort of camouflage, I think, because I died again, without even noticing him. This time I got a part of my stuff back, but when I wanted to leave, a rock picked me up, but I managed to get away from it. A skeleton immediately headshotted me though, so it didn't really matter. This was my last death, dying to the same skeleton for my last 3 deaths. This time I gave up on getting my stuff back, so I grabbed a bow and some arrows to defend myself. When I went to bed, a reaper spawned from my bed and I ran away. I let the reaper despawn, and when I came back to my house, I saw a horde of zombies attacking my villagers, so I could say goodbye to my traits. I leveled up my agility, so I was finally able to use my bow. I noticed after a while that the reaper in fact didn't despawn and had just fled up really high into the air. I got my first kill with a bow when I shot the reaper. I thought the reaper dropped a crap ton of loot, but another mob spawned out of him and almost killed me. He luckily took a lot of fall damage, so I managed to kill him. I healed up, got some more loot from the reaper and leveled up my mining abilities. Not a lot of exciting stuff happened except for me getting mauled at by a lion, which kept me in my base for about another 5 minutes until I killed it. I mined some more stone, made a sword, and the next day I went exploring. I wanted to get the loot from the giant battle tower near my base, so I was just going to break the spawners and get the loot. Well, it wasn't that easy, sadly. There were 2 skeletons when I got in, and yeah, you could probably guess what happened. Death 28 was my worst death so far. When I respawned in my bed, I saw some other chests with resources in it, which I gladly took. I was getting kinda bored being around my house for so long, so I went inside a village in front of my house. The hyperthermia was the most annoying thing ever and made me have to jump into the water every 5 seconds. I actually got some really good loot, like a full set of iron tools, and tried to go home. You probably won't believe me, but I actually didn't know how to get back. I wandered around the village for around 2 minutes and I just didn't find my way back. I knew I was going to die, so I put my stuff inside a chest from the village and I died from hyperthermia. I immediately went to the village when I respawned and made sure I was going to find my way back. I found my stuff, but by the time I got back I was burning again. I put my loot in the chest and was going to get some more wood. I didn't have any sticks, so I had to make a new hatchet. I chopped some trees, chopped the wood into planks and stored it in the chest. After that I killed some mobs with my bow for the EXP in a dark area under my house, and it worked pretty well. I even got an iron axe from one of the zombies. I leveled up some more skills so I could finally get better stuff and kill some more enemies. A reaper sadly spawned out of one of those mobs and actually one-shot me with, yeah, I don't know what it is, a ball? This death wasn't really exciting. I literally got all my stuff back, but went back in a dark area just for 1 XP orb. This was a terrible idea and a skeleton killed me. This time I wanted to catch some XP and maybe even an enchanted bow, so I made a fishing rod and went fishing. I needed gathering level 4 to be able to use the fishing rod, so that sucked. It was getting dark, so I slept again, and of course a reaper came out of my bed and wasted my time again. Instead of one-shotting me, he hit me like 10 times now, with me barely taking any damage really. I couldn't move though and didn't see anything, so I thought this would result in a death again, but I managed to get away and heal myself. I then killed the Reaper, and immediately after I killed him, a freaking bird picked me up again. I couldn't sleep since there were monsters near my house again, so I wandered around in my house thinking of what to do next. I really needed some water after a while, so I took a big risk and ran without any armor to the nearest water pool and drank some water. I survived and killed my first rock, which didn't drop anything great. I was out of ideas, so I just wasted my time by bowing some mobs for EXP, but got killed by crap that wasn't in my vision. I made another weapon to take my revenge on the crab. It was a fierce battle, but I took the victory. I got my stuff back and it was finally getting morning. I leveled up my gathering and could finally fish. I was really hyped since I thought there were some really epic fish in this game with different uses, etc, etc. I went fishing and I caught my first fish in just a couple of seconds. Another fish spawned out of nowhere and gave me the paralysis effect, so I had nowhere to go. I literally searched for this kind of fish for more than 2 hours. I got my stuff back again and the fish luckily despawned, and hoped my next fishing experience would be a lot more peaceful. Even though my previous experience was terrible, this time it went great. After fishing 3 times, I caught an enchanting book with enchantments I had never heard about. The experience that I got also helped a lot, and I leveled up some more stuff. Nevertheless, I quit after fishing a few times since it was getting kinda boring, but I was happy with the end result. I wanted to get some more iron for a bucket so I could finally make a farm. I heard in a Discord server that you could actually get some good XP from farming, so that was my goal. I didn't want to strip mine at Y11 yet, since I thought it was one of the biggest no-nos in the game to do. I think I heard it from someone before, but I wasn't too sure. I saw some iron in the cave and wanted to make a staircase to get there. It was way harder than I thought it would be, since I kept getting hypothermia every 5 seconds. I cooled off in the water, but the tiger saw me and killed me. This time I could actually sleep for once. I almost got headshotted by a skeleton again when trying to get some more XP, but with my amazing parkour skills I managed to get away from him and kill him with my bow. I leveled up my mining ability after getting the XP and was now able to mine iron. So I healed myself and went back to the cave. I actually found a grue claw, which was probably there because I killed it when I mined down or something. I didn't do a whole lot of interesting stuff. I just got 3 iron, made a bucket which I stored in my chest, and then wanted to quickly grab the loot from a chest I saw under my house. A whole bunch of mobs followed me, so I tried to quickly get my stuff from the chest, but it was too late. A creeper exploded and I fell in a hole where I fell victim to a skeleton. This time I really wanted to get my stuff back since I saw some stuff I'd never seen before, but I immediately died by a spider. I killed a bunch of mobs again to get some more XP, went to bed and then killed some more mobs. I leveled up my defense to level 4, which meant I was able to wear the chainmail armor on the armor stand in my house. I hate to brag, but I must admit, it looked pretty juicy, not gonna lie. With this armor upgrade, I was going back to the battle tower to avenge myself. I returned after a while since I was getting hypothermia again, and I didn't want to die with my amazing armor on. I made a terrible decision to kill a blighted creature, even though I didn't know what it would do back then. It luckily was a kobold, so it wouldn't attack me, and I even killed it. I took the XP and went from level 2 to level 19, and I didn't know what was going on. I leveled up a whole bunch of stuff which felt amazing. There was another purple fire skeleton near my house, and for some reason it didn't attack me. I almost got killed by the thorns on his armor and kept shooting at him. I don't know how I survived at 2 hearts, but I did. The skeleton sadly despawned, so I couldn't get a lot of XP from him, but at least there was a nymph who gave me regen. I started to finally make a good farm and wanted to grab my hoe. I still saw a purple fire mob, so I hit it and immediately died by his thorns. This time I grabbed my hoe and finished the simple farm. I got a ton of seeds, killed a squid and killed some more mobs. The next day I farmed some more seeds and noticed that there was a flying dragon near my house. I didn't have time to check it out since I got hypothermia, so I got into the house to cool off. I died by hitting an enderman since I thought my armor was good enough to kill him. I got a lot of my stuff back from the enderman and continued mining some iron. I melted another 4 iron and killed some more mobs. One spider also dropped a new ore called a heart crystal and it looked kinda rare, so I immediately stored it in my chest. After this I kept getting annoyed by hypothermia and thirst and barely had any time to get some XP to level up my skills. I don't know why, but I went to the battle tower again, but this time I was equipped. I had 8 arrows and chainmail armor. When I went inside, I managed to get a couple of resources by breaking the skeleton spawners and ran as quickly as possible to my home. The recording cut off here, but I died by a horde of jousts. I actually wanted to make a nether portal after this death. I had enough iron for 2 buckets and wanted to see what the nether looked like, so I was going to look for some lava. I first got my stuff back since I apparently died here, and it was getting nighttime and I probably don't even need to tell you guys what happened. The next day I killed some more zombies and found a helmet that looked like it was made in Star Wars or something like that. I was actually able to put it on, but I must admit that it looked quite weird. I also was able to use an iron sword now since I upgraded my attack skills to level 8 and was ready to take on some bosses. Cheeky. I didn't do a lot of stuff this day, besides getting XP and almost dying to a zombie that was poisonous. Before I died, I stole a stone pillar with 3 skeleton heads on it. I don't know what the sole purpose of that was, but I took the skeleton heads. I did die a minute later after taking the skeleton heads by invading the mob tower again and lost a 1v1 against the spider. To keep it short, I died again while trying to retrieve my stuff from the mob tower by an insane amount of jousts. I did manage to get the stuff back this time and got my first bubble. I didn't know what a bubble was back then, so I just put it back in the chest. I didn't know what was going on inside my head, but I decided to take on the group of jousts that killed me before. This obviously didn't go too well. This time I had a different strat to kill them. I got 64 arrows and a bow and shot them at a range where they weren't able to hit me. I killed them all and got my stuff back, but by the time this happened it was already nighttime and I was burning again. I ran home as quickly as possible, but when I got near my home, a bazillion skeletons aimed for my head. The next day I waited for the skeletons to die from the sun, grabbed my stuff, tried to make sticks again and got some more wood because I had an epic idea. From some people I heard that the top floor of the battle tower contained diamond blocks and incredible loot. I immediately went to the top floor by using blocks to climb up the tower, but when I got to the top floor I got a little surprised. A giant rock monster attacked me and I jumped off the building, so I was able to get my stuff back even though I would die. So yeah, that didn't go very well as you could say. I got demolished by that guy. I slept and got some more wood. I went back to the tower for my loot and almost died of hypothermia again. I grabbed my 50 cooked pork chops out of the furnace since I cooked it the day before and wanted to do something more peaceful. Just kidding, I slayed a couple of mobs and got some more XP from the wheat farm. It was finally fully grown for the biggest part. Later I went to check in on the village near my house, which took an absurd amount of time because of the heat. I swear I recorded for like 30 minutes without dying and this was nearly the only thing I was able to do. There was no loot at all in the village, so I went home, but I obviously died of hypothermia just before entering my room. On my 45th attempt, I discovered a new creature, a wisp. I didn't know why, but I had to try to drown it. You might be wondering why I had a bucket of water in my hand, but this was because I was going to the battle tower again. This time I was not going to fight the boss. I just wanted to create a waterfall so I could go to the top floor as many times as I wanted if my gear was better. Doing this was a lot harder than I thought it would be and I spent more than 3 minutes doing so. When I was finally upstairs, I noticed that the chest was gone and so was all the loot. This was pretty sad since I had just lost 2 diamond blocks. I tried to kill the golem just like how you do the iron golem strat by building 4 blocks up, or 5 blocks, I don't know, and started critting him. But I forgot about my biggest foe, the skeleton. I left my stuff in the battle tower since yeah, there wasn't really any purpose in trying besides dying. I crafted a new iron sword and killed some more mobs, but a new mob spawned out of a grass block and killed me after a long battle. I did manage to kill the grass monster this time and another one of those reaper boys spawned when I killed it. I got a wither skull out of it, which was pretty cool. I made some more chests since every other chest was full and ate a carrot. I asked some things in a Discord server for a while and when I came back I got back to the battle tower. My plan was to get rid of the spawners as quickly as possible, get my stuff and make a run for it. Here's how it went. My stuff literally despawned when I wanted to pick it up. I thought I was safe since the stone mob wasn't aggroed on me, but when I opened the chest and wanted to check the loot, that thing went full rampage mode. This time I put on some armor, got a new weapon and went to the battle tower to retrieve my stuff again without opening any chests. Before I could do that, the lion attacked me and I'm not sure how I survived, but I did. I didn't have any healing, so I just had to make sure I didn't take damage, which as you probably thought didn't happen. I got some loot from one of the spawners and I made the worst possible jump ever. The death that will occur here might be the most random one. I recorded 2 parts of this death. In the first part I got half of my armor back, which was good enough for me, and I built. I actually made a summoning staff which I heard you should have made as soon as possible, but hey, at least I made it. I need a level 8 magic to be able to use it, so it was time to grind some levels. Somehow there were only 2 mobs I could kill, so I came up with a genius idea to make my own custom mob farm. I got a lot of dirt to use as building blocks and wanted to cool off in some water while getting some tea. This is where part 2 started. I approximately survived 4 seconds when I got back into the video. Remember, I actually paused the game, and this is what happened. So I guess this mod pack also has a few bugs. The next day I built a mob farm. My plan was to make a dark room where mobs could spawn and use some slabs so they wouldn't be able to hit me. I needed a lot more dirt though, so I went mining again. I went to bed, occasional stuff happened and I couldn't sleep again. I got killed by a tiger while checking out some mobs. The tiger was still there when I respawned, but I got stuck in a wall after a while, so I hit it with my axe for a while and it died. I was really close to level 8 now. I needed that to be able to use my summoning staff, so I killed a few mobs and was almost able to use it. I got the last levels by fishing and actually got some lapis from a fish, which could come in handy when enchanting stuff. I leveled up my magic and even fished up a bow. I almost got killed by another fish not very long after that, so I should watch out. It was finally time. I grabbed my summoning staff, right-clicked on the stuff, and it showed me a bunch of mobs I could summon. I was thinking about summoning my best friend, the Reaper of course, but chose the Django. I held right-click and there they were, my army. They weren't much of a help and actually were pretty annoying since they followed me everywhere I went. I knew that I was able to defeat the mobs in the bell tower now with my summoning staff, so I went there for the millionth time. They despawned after a while, but I still wanted to go there. Maybe the boss was gone, you never know. And he was still there. I was on my way to the tower, but I knew I made a mistake halfway, since it was getting dark. I still thought I could make it. When I swam up in the water, a weird loud thing appeared in front of my screen, which said Cinderfall. I really didn't know what happened, but when I looked around me, a lot of weird mobs I'd never seen before hit me with fire, and I died instantly. When I respawned, those things were still there, killing every mob near my house. I thought they were going to set my house on fire, so I needed to do something. I got my summoning staff and hoped my jungles would detect the fire mobs. They didn't do anything, and I almost wanted to throw the stuff away since there wasn't any purpose of the thing. I got killed by a cinder while my jungles were just chilling. This time the cinders luckily weren't aggro to me, but I still needed to do something about them. So I got my axe and absolutely demolished the first cinder near my house. I gave the summoning staff one more chance, and like I expected, the Jengos didn't do anything. I did manage to kill them all after a while. When I looked inside my chest, I still saw the Bezoar and thought that it had something to do with those other slots in my inventory. So I put one in my offhand to see if anything actually happened, and nothing really happened except for me getting too hot again. I eventually got swarmed by a bunch of mobs and a zombie villager with thorns killed me. I think this was the first time I managed to survive longer than 1 hour. I got revenge on the villager and got my first special ability called Fossil Digger. I put my Bezoar in my offhand again and went back to my room, where a couple of zombies spawned even though there were torches nearby. I thought it was time to actually start mining. People told me not to do it, but I said flip them, I'm still going to. Maybe it wasn't such a good idea since a creeper immediately exploded in front of me. I made a couple of torches with coal I mined earlier and went deeper inside the caves. I didn't know why they weren't on, so I tried some random stuff like clicking on them with flint and steel, which actually surprised me since it worked. I mined till around Y40 and got back up since I was thirsty. I made a stone pickaxe this time since my other one was broken. I actually got scared after a while since these messages kept appearing on my screen and I really didn't want to get jump scared. I got up, mined some more coal, got some more torches and went in the cave again. I'm not joking if I tell you mining is the scariest thing in RLCraft for sure. Another geonox spawned off an ore while I was mining it, and you could see by the movement of my mouse that I was actually freaked out. But I killed it and continued my mining adventure. I heard some really weird sounds and actually wanted to stop mining, but I still kept going on. I found some more iron and melted it in my furnace at home. I even got an iron pickaxe, which I wasn't able to use yet, but it felt like an improvement. I mined some more wood afterwards and a broccoli mob spawned out of a tree, but for the rest of the recording not a lot happened. I did find a new ore whilst mining called a hard crystal shard or something. I needed an iron pickaxe to mine it, so I had to wait. After strip mining around Y11, I found a big cave with lava and water, but returned to my house and slept. The next day my wheat was fully grown and I harvested it. I leveled up my mining and it was going amazing. Until I hit a wisp. Attempt 56 went pretty smooth. After I got all my stuff back, I went into a dark area under my house to get some XP, just to find an ultra striking spider of fatigue with an incredible amount of debuffs that killed me. I died to the exact same thing twice, so I'll just put death 57 and death 58 on screen really quickly. I was finally able to dodge the skeleton's arrows and picked up all my stuff and returned home. I also finally found out why the message "there was a monster nearby" kept appearing when I tried to sleep. Behind the door on the bottom floor there was a room without any torches where mobs could freely spawn. I almost killed all the mobs in the area, just like the guys that even helped me damage the mobs. Of course the skeleton on 10% health had to ruin my day. This time I killed the skeleton and went to bed. I forgot to light up the place, but whatever. I summoned a bunch of water guys even though I wanted to spawn some other creatures that actually did something, but I didn't know how to change the mob choices. But this time they actually helped me kill a skeleton, so the summoning stuff wasn't useless after all. Since I had an iron pickaxe, I was going to look for some iron and maybe even some diamonds. I really wanted an armor upgrade. I mined a hard crystal and got some more coal, and after 3 times, another one of those geonox spawned out of an ore. I googled what the chances were that such a thing would spawn and it was only 1%. I mined only around 20 coal and 3 of those things have spawned already, so my luck must be terrible. I put on some iron armor and grabbed an iron sword, but when I came back to my death point, the mob had already despawned. I mined some redstone in the big cave that I previously found and nothing spawned out of it for once. I was going to stay away from the cave for a very long time because another scary fire monster set me on fire and kept chasing me even though I made a tiny mine. I came back to the mine and mined my own business for once. I feared for my life while mining coal and other ores, but nothing luckily happened. I set the game mode to normal just for a tiny bit of time since I wanted to survive for longer than 10 minutes, just as once. I found some more hardstone and a new ore called silver. The loot was pretty good and I was close to being full iron armor. With the silver I got, I made pants and I had some really good protection finally. I mined a lot in this attempt, so I would just skip the part except for where I found the good stuff. Here I found diamonds and it was a pretty decent vein. I got some more iron and went upstairs. I really needed some water because I was on hard mode again. I didn't want to cheat, you know, and made an enchanting table after drinking some water, but I couldn't use it yet. Just like the diamond pickaxe I crafted from my spare diamonds. I didn't sleep when it got nighttime and didn't die for a pretty long time actually. I got a lot of XP and went to bed this time. I eventually did die from hyperthermia even though I stayed in my house for a long time. Well, this attempt didn't go very well. I chopped some trees for more storage room or torches, I actually forgot, and I saw the dragon again and took a closer look. I saw a lot of bone blocks that I could use for bone meal and started mining it, but I got too close to the dragon and he one-shotted me. I got some new armor and left my stuff near the dragon since it would insta-kill me if I went near it, and I did some more mining. The only thing I found was a cave and a monster that spawned out of my iron ore, which, you might not believe it, killed me. I died in the same way as the previous time. The geonog was still there. I left the mine ASAP, but it was way quicker than me. The geonog was almost dead because of my punches, so I grabbed my sword and went in the cave to kill it this time. This wasn't necessary when I saw my stuff since he despawned. I also was incredibly lucky because of the geonog spawning a vein of diamonds and covered right in front of me. So I mined them and then mined the other iron ore that was still left. And a freaking geonog spawned out of the ore again. I went to a new structure nearby my house this time. It looked like a giant mansion and not really friendly. A dragon even died near the structure, so maybe some mobs killed it. I spent 2 minutes looking for the entrance and finally found it. When I went inside, I immediately left because there were so many mobs that I definitely couldn't take on. I explored a bit more but forgot about hyperthermia, which got the better of me after a minute. I died while going back to my house. I got my stuff again and killed some more monsters under my bed before I went to sleep. I woke up and wanted to go mining again, but saw a couple of zombies near the cave, so I killed them. Now something very weird happened. I got hit by a zombie that lit me on fire, and it somehow killed me even though I had my iron armor on. Luckily the zombie didn't put my armor on because I knew that happened in the future. I went mining and I'll just skip the mining in general since it's very boring. The loot I got was very meh, just some coal and iron basically. I did have a water bucket with me so I could mine whilst being on hard mode. I took a drink and got in my bed after putting the gold and iron in the furnace. I saved up the iron I mined for an anvil. I wanted to use the books I got from fishing and villages on my armor and other stuff so I was equipped with better stuff. I did some boring stuff and did some even more boring stuff. Before mining I actually put my water bucket on the stairs, which flooded the whole area and destroyed all the torches. After doing all this I went back to the battle tower to destroy some more spawners. As you can see I forgot to bring a pickaxe, so when I got to the battle tower I couldn't do a whole lot besides looting the remains of the first chest. I got killed by a random cinder that wanted to say hello. I didn't die when I tried to get all my loot back because the cinders had despawned, so I could get everything back without any mob attacking me. Except for one cave spider that hit me when I swam up. I then harvested my crops and planted some more seeds. I went to the mob tower again, this time with a pickaxe, and actually didn't plan to invade the tower. I knew I would insta-die if I tried to get a loot from there, so instead I got some iron and other materials from the resource structure next to it. I tried to get back, but after a long trip of evading hyperthermia, it was too late and I got picked up by a rock. I had 2.5 hearts left and needed to get back as soon as possible, but the bird gave me slowness effect and I got swarmed by mobs. In the town 71, the first useful thing I did was making an anvil. I had enough iron and crafted it. I unfortunately wasn't able to use it, so that sucked. My building skill was only level 4, so that meant I had to do a lot of grinding. I also couldn't get out of my house because of a lion on drugs. When I killed him I almost died to more skeletons, and after killing them it was finally time to mine. I forgot my torches, so I had to make some more of those. I also noticed something weird. When I got back from my mining session, which wasn't very valuable, I could easily climb up the blocks. I still don't know what happened here, but if anyone could explain me why this happened, I would appreciate it. I just needed 2 more levels to be able to use my diamond pickaxe and make a nether portal, so I got back and actually did find some good ores. I got hard crystals and more diamonds. After that it got even better. I finally knew I was able to use the bezoar that was sitting in my chest for I don't know how long. I now had immunity to poison. I got outside and saw the zombies I could kill for XP. A creeper snuck up behind me though and it was terrible. I managed to get everything back, even the armor that a zombie put on, which was mine. I did some sorting and was going to see if the battle tower was still a threat. I got to the second floor this time, which was huge. An invisible spider came out of the spawner, but it wasn't giving up. I escaped by going upstairs and immediately left, because there were like 10 mobs there. So I took my flight and admit I wasn't ready. I really didn't do a whole lot besides making some bandages, so I just skipped to my death. I chopped a tree and was crushed by it. Very lame. I don't know why the tree killed me because I wasn't even near it when it fell, but okay, maybe I was. I killed a bat and I thought it wouldn't drop anything, but it did. A bat wing. It just didn't sound very tasty. I then saw some more mobs under my house and still got 2 shot by a skeleton. I didn't know that was possible, but he happened to have an enchanted bow. I went back to the death area without any armor on and it was a mistake. I did kill all the zombies, but it was pretty tough, mostly because of the fact that they kept setting me on fire. I got my stuff back and used some bandages to heal myself. I wanted to try out the javelin I got from a special mob on the skeleton that killed me. The javelin disappointed me when I aimed on the skeleton. The reach of the thing was like 0. The skeleton then got mad at me, but I was able to take like 10 shots of that bow before dying this time. This death was my quickest death so far. Exactly 9 seconds did I play before dying. I got out of bed, wanted to get my stuff, but a skeleton one-shot me. After I retrieved all my stuff, I made a compass to see where it was located. So even when I didn't respawn in my bed somehow, I would still know where it was. I also made my first shield and upgraded it to an iron one. I tested it out on some mobs and it worked fine. I think the only thing that's different with a diamond one is the durability. In Discord I asked a few people what I could do with nether quartz and I heard that a season clock could tell you what the seasons were, so I made it and put it in an item frame. I went inside another cave and got jump scared by the scariest monster so far. I'm not sure how, but whilst fighting this thing I killed myself. The Gru luckily despawned by the time I got back in the cave and I continued my original plan, mining. After all, I could finally increase my mining skills to level 16, which meant the diamond pickaxe was usable. The jump bug was gone I suppose when I returned. It was kind of a shame since it was really helpful. When I got back I was finally able to make a new heart, which I did. You are supposed to right click on it, so I did that and I got an extra heart. This was really good. I could just get infinite hearts if I kept on mining, I thought. I got my diamond pickaxe and went to the cave with obsidian again. Until now there has always spawned a scary mob when I was near the cave, so I blocked it off with some cobblestone and I hoped that it would keep away most of the mobs. This wasn't the case because just when I finished breaking one obsidian, a new mob attacked me and almost killed me. I luckily killed him and went back. Not very long afterwards, a giant lava monster with purple fire was near me but wasn't able to reach me. I forgot about the flying monster since I got destroyed by a spectre. I wasn't going near that cave anymore from now on and left immediately. I got some fireballs from a random mob and threw one on the ground. After this I went to bed, and when I woke up 2 rocks were mating, so I interfered and killed them since that wasn't allowed near my place. The best tactic for ender pearls was also discovered on this attempt. I hit an enderman and went inside my house to kill him. He didn't drop a pearl. I farmed some more and went back into the house again. I almost got my building to level 12 and wanted to use the anvil, so I got my shield and sword and used it on a skeleton. This went way better than I expected. Not very soon after deflecting my first arrow, a black tiger attacked me while I was just peacefully planting some seeds. Those animals never show their respect. I think I improved really quickly starting at this attempt. I started off by killing a few mobs and farming some more wheat. I then mined a few more ores just to level my magic up to level 12. I was finally able to use the enchanting table, so I searched for a nice spot in the house and placed it down. I got 12 lapis and enchanted all of my armor. The enchants weren't very bad and I was happy with them. I could only enchant one piece, so I killed some more skeletons. I forgot to put on the rest of my armor, but I didn't die, so whatever. I now enchanted the rest of my armor and my pickaxe and tried to sleep. A rare creeper spawned in my house, so I had to kill that mob first, and it was pretty hard. He was able to throw poison at me and teleport to me, so I had to be really careful. I dealt with him and the creeper gave me so much XP that I was able to enchant the rest of my stuff. The mining session I did afterwards was insane. I got a lot of diamonds and that hard ore and got a really good amount of levels. I put on a torch on my water, so I needed to go up really quickly so I wasn't dehydrating. That luckily didn't happen. I drank some dirty water and a rare zombie that I killed dropped a lot, and I mean a lot of heart ores. I made a new heart container and was getting stacked really quickly. I fought a lot of mobs, and just when I opened the door I died of hyperthermia. I wasn't expecting to die from this at all. As amazing as attempt 79 went, as terrible did attempt 80 go. The loot was like inside my house, so getting that back wasn't the problem. The problem was when I entered the area under my house again and a blighted zombie attacked me. I managed to fight for a little while, but eventually he killed me. I got back to the place where I died, but the zombie was still there and I used my summoning staff so that they could kill him. The zombie was gone, so lucky me, but I saw a new animal, a hedgehog I think, and I wanted to kill it. He gave me a painful debuff when I hit it, so I stayed away from him. I killed him but died by his bleed effect. I got the peanuts from the hedgehog and threw it at a couple of mobs just for fun. I returned home and when I opened the door, a creeper exploded and blew up a giant chest of mine. I really hated that. It took 5 minutes to rebuild everything, and when I was almost finished, a new message appeared in front of my screen. The blood moon was rising. It sounded really scary, so I just stayed inside for the whole night because it wasn't possible to sleep during a blood moon. I did notice that there were more mobs than other nights. I couldn't do a whole lot besides staying in my house, so I just put some music on. The next day I killed a bunch of weird mobs from Blood Moon that still camped around my house and got some more flint for flint and steel. It took exactly 40 tries to get one flint. I made a chest plate afterwards but couldn't use it yet. My skills were still too low. So I got some more water, then almost got killed by a lion and went on another mining adventure. The loot was rather miserable. I only got 1 or 2 hard shards and some iron, but I did get 15 levels, so it wasn't totally terrible. It was terrible when I got up to the surface and drank some water. After I drank some water I saw a zombie with particles and made a mistake. I attacked it. He took my freaking sword and I couldn't do anything. I survived for a couple hours on attempt 83. It's really hard to edit this, but I'll try my best. First, I killed a zombie that lost his buffs and got my armor back plus my sword. I then got some more levels plus a music disc from a creeper and stored everything in my chest. I upgraded the defense skill and got some more wood to get torches. I wanted to explore more than just the 100 by 100 area around my house, so I had to get water bottles so I didn't need a water pool every time I got thirsty. I filled them with water and put them in a furnace for purified water. The next day I did some more mining and got extremely lucky with the diamonds. 5 minutes into mining I already found some, and not just some, 6 diamonds. 3 minutes later I mined into even more diamonds and it was going really well. After I lost all my torches I went back up and the treasure was 6 hard shards and 11 diamonds and I was really happy with that. I made another heart and made some more furnaces. I then leveled up my defense to level 16, which meant I could actually wear diamond armor now and made a diamond shield. That shield looked sick. After crafting my shield I made pants and a helmet and it looked pretty good. I tested my armor on some lions but I almost died doing that, so my armor needed to improve a little before fighting a bunch of them. I enchanted my armor to be a little bit stronger and made a new iron sword. I knew I was ready for the battle tower and left my house. When I arrived I did great for the first few minutes and broke a lot of spawners. On a higher floor I fought a bunch of skeletons and spiders and they weren't a problem at all, but there were also zombies on the floor above me that jumped down and eventually I did retreat. I then got back with only a few hearts left and got killed by a Youse that was stuck. When I wanted to get to the battle tower I got struck by lightning out of nowhere. It stopped for a while so I continued running, but after 5 seconds I got struck by lightning again and didn't survive it this time. I was kind of getting desperate now and ran off without any armor on, but made it to the battle tower in time. My armor hadn't despawned yet. I got all my stuff back and because it was next to the battle tower I tried once again and it went alright. I got rid of 2 more spawners but a zombie hit me in a hole and I had to climb up the stairs again. This was fatal because when I got up, a skeleton with an enchanted bow that had explosive arrows kept hitting me and I had to jump out of a window to survive. I didn't survive for long because it was night and my health was almost nothing, so yeah. I improved a lot in this attempt. I saw on a Reddit post that you could make different weapons than just an iron sword. There were weapons that dealt like 3 times as much damage as a standard weapon. I did need some more diamonds in order to make a halberd, so I went mining again. I went mining and I found the biggest vein of diamonds I had ever seen. 9 diamonds in just one vein, and it got even crazier. A couple of minutes later I found a new vein with even more diamonds. There were 10 diamonds in this vein, I kid you not. When I got back inside my house I had 19 diamonds, almost more than the iron I mined. I made boots so I was full diamond and a ring, but it was time to make the diamond halberd. I enchanted it but needed a couple more levels to be able to use it. I then got the resources from my first crafted bubble, which was a bunch of sugar and a redstone block, and I made the ring. The next day I got some more levels to enchant my diamond pickaxe because I saw advanced efficiency in the enchanting table which sounded good and enchanted it. I wanted to test it out and it worked really well. My main purpose was to get level 16 attack and I did that. I immediately went upstairs to get my halberd and slay some mobs and it was incredible. I could even one-hit some mobs with this thing. I killed some more mobs and eventually went to the battle tower again. It went pretty well even though I fell down 2 floors by a skeleton, but I got back up and destroyed even more spawners. The golem was gone from the top floor. I'm not sure where he went, but I considered myself lucky. And then I opened the last chest and I sold the item that would fix all of my problems. The Aussie liner. I combined it with my chestplate and I was so happy. Hypothermia was the worst thing in the entire game and I would never experience this anymore. The next day I used my anvil and put protection 4 on my chestplate. I was never going to get killed anymore. I thought that until I saw a purple fire zombie. I got some spare armor from a chest and a diamond sword and hoped it would be enough to kill the blighted zombie. I actually got incredibly scared when I saw the zombie. It was still blighted and put my armor on. I got my summoning staff this time and saw that he put on a helmet of mine too. It was getting crazier and crazier. He now even grabbed my halberd. I knew I was dead when he started punching the door. When I respawned, I saw a blight zombie was slain by, and I think my Jengus actually helped, because my stuff was in the hallway. It was too early to celebrate, because another monster attacked me when I tried to get my stuff back. It was an intense battle and I quickly got back to my safe house, but I lost my pants. I didn't want to lose my diamond armor, so I just put my valuable items in my chest and went looking for my pants. The good news is that I got my pants. The bad news was that I immediately died after getting them back. This time I did get my stuff back and all the mobs were gone. Finally, I was full diamond again. I repaired my helmet and put my bubble in a slot. I only lost my best war, but that wasn't such a big deal. I then killed the kobold since he was being annoying and he actually dropped a part of my loot, so it's really lucky that I decided to kill him. I also discovered how to summon different creatures with the summoning staff. I chose to summon a reaper this time even though it was expensive to summon him, but he looked epic. Because I had a Nazi liner, I was able to explore bigger areas and I found a new village. I saw a bigger structure nearby, so I left the village and went there. There was a whole army of Yaos defending the structure, so I had to get past them first, which was way harder than I thought it would be. I was going to wait before looting the mansion and explore it a little more. It was getting nighttime, so I returned to my house. I was really close to my house before a tiger attacked me and gave me the wait effect for 30 seconds. My health bar was very low, so I had to be extra careful. I survived and slept. I farmed my sugarcane the next morning and another event happened. Eruption. Looking back at this footage, I noticed how unlucky I was because this was the worst event possible. I'm glad I wasn't in my house, but I still died to a volcano. Eruption finally wasn't spawning mobs again and I was able to peacefully go outside. Nothing was burned in the lava. I didn't want to travel miles again just to get the loot back, so I made some warp scrolls. Now I could get everything back without having to walk 1,000 miles. I did make the wrong scroll at first, so I had to gather new resources for the actual warp scrolls later. I first did some more mining and after half an hour of digging, I came back with 17 diamonds and 5 hard shards and a lot of lapis. I made the Ring of Resistance because I was already full diamond and didn't really need them for anything else, and it gave me a 20% resistance boost, which was insane. A bit later a Venturaptor almost killed me. Those mobs kept aiming for my head. Okay, so I heard about armor being better than diamond, which was called dragon armor. You needed to kill dragons for it so they would drop their skill. This sounded really cool, but I first needed some dragon bones for the weapons. Luckily a dead dragon was nearby and I got his bones. When trying to craft a sword I also needed wither bones and I thought you could get them by killing the wither. It was way easier, but I didn't know that back then. Someone also gave me tips to craft the dragon's eye, which would give me permanent fire resistance and was the best bubble in the game, so I had a new goal. My first goal was to get the dragon sword, so I killed some more mobs to level up. This was until I went to the desert temple and the way things noticed me. The mobs luckily were gone and I retreated. I got home and made some more sticks, and it was time to go mining again for those extra hearts. The mining session went really well. I got 13 hard shards and 31 diamonds. Holy macaroni. I then made some bookshelves for my enchanting table for the actual good enchantments. I didn't record for a while, but I just made some backup armor and the rest of the bookshelves. It was time to enchant some armor. I put some armor in the enchanting table, but the enchants were rather crappy, so I made a bow. I got to level 30 again and this time enchanted my pants with magic protection, which sounded pretty cool. I then did even more mining. 10 minutes later I had another heart and 13 diamonds. I then enchanted my bow and actually got infinity first try. This was going smooth. Some other really epic thing also happened. I killed my first blight with my water punch tactic. I let it in the water and trapped it with my punch 2 bow. I got level 25 instantly. I got another heart, but I felt like something was missing. Maybe a dragon. Nah. I went back to the desert temple and managed to kill all the flying mobs with my bow. The loot was weird and it had some crafting runes in it. I took them. By the time I got back home it was nighttime again. I felt like I was ready to take on a big mansion near my house. I took on a desert temple and a blighted mob, so what could go wrong? Well, a lot. I nearly died on the bottom floor of the tower. I killed another blight and fully enchanted everything. I also learned to make matchboxes, so I didn't need to bring a flint and steel every time I went mining. Don't ask me why, but I went to the big tower again and insta-regret it again. This one might be the death that hurt me the most. You will see why soon. This was really bad. I only got back half of my armor and lost some of my other stuff. I did put on some backup armor I had in my chest. I then went mining. It went pretty well. A new heart again and some other resources. I got out of my house and saw the dragonfly and I stared at him. What if I could kill it? It was nighttime when I had a plan. I heard the dragon would sleep every night and that you could use a summoning staff to attack it in its sleep. Well, it wasn't asleep, so I returned. While seeing what happens right now, I actually cringed. I saw a Morok and ran away from it. I literally haven't tamed a single fast creature as I'm speaking of right now, and it was the first and last time I have seen this creature so far. The next day I was going to attack the dragon. I didn't care if I would die. I made I don't know what it is, but a structure that was supposed to protect me with a hole, so I couldn't die by the fire breath of the dragon. I was way too far away from the dragon, so the whole structure was useless. I then hit the dragon. I felt like it was chasing me every time, but I kept running. It took 10% of my bow, but I finally did it. My first dragon. It dropped 26 dragon skills and enough for a full set of dragon armor. I also crafted some useless dragon stick and then went back to kill the mobs for XP plus mining. I also made a clock. Not sure why I didn't do this before. It even showed me the exact time. The next idea was to farm some blaze rods for the dragon's eye, so I made a cinder farm I found on YouTube. I made all the stuff for the farm and was good to go. Before making the farm I first created a nether portal because I really wanted to see what the nether looked like. I lit it up and went inside. And what the frick, I had the worst spawn ever. Worst of all, my portal was unlit and I had a low durability on my flint and steel. And then a Gecko demon attacked me. I managed to escape somehow with almost no hearts on my head, but spawned somewhere completely different. I went back to the portal to try it again because I literally had no choice and it didn't go very well. I put my backup armor on before going to the nether, since I heard it was scary luckily. Just some iron armor, but I did lose all my bubbles because I forgot to put them off. By the way, I actually went to the nether because I needed netherrack for the farm, but I managed to mine some netherrack later on. It was time to make the farm. I made a part of the farm until the blood moon was rising message appeared in front of my screen again, so I had to wait a whole night inside my house and started building again. I almost finished the farm and made some new rings, and I finally finished it. Now we just had to wait. I got back to the farm and a new enemy was in the overworld that was supposed to be in the nether, but when I got to the farm, cinders indeed spawned. I only got one blaze rod though, so it wasn't really efficient. I killed some more blazes and then a new event popped up. I always survive events, so it shouldn't be a big deal. Yeah. I didn't record for some time in my next death since I was just going to mine. I did mine a lot of stuff though. 14 hard shards and 100 iron. I got level 30 when I got back, so I enchanted a golden chestplate. I used the golden one because I also was about to make a disenchanter and gold items gave rarer enchants, I think, and it was the right call. I then went fishing and killed some more blazes. A message appeared but I didn't read it, but then I saw a green monster shooting fireballs. It luckily wasn't very strong. I also needed some more glowstone, and since I only knew I could get it from wisps without going to the nether, I killed them. Looking back at this was a bad idea. I also got a cool potion from a wisp. I then heard about a better farm called the Xefen farm, so it was time to start building it. It was finally finished after half an hour of building and it was time to test it out. Nothing happened. I asked a couple of people about this issue and they said it could be because the stone was under the lava. I tried some other things first since I was skeptic, but after a couple of minutes I destroyed the blocks and my first Xefen spawned. After just 5 minutes I got to level 37 and this was just insane. I leveled up my attack and farmed a bunch more levels. I also got so many blaze rods from those Xevens, so I made some more ingots and then my first dragon bone sword. I didn't do much besides mining and XP farming, so I just skipped to the interesting stuff. My first 2 glowing gems. But now let's focus on my death. I had a dangerous job to do, so I put my armor and my bubbles in the chest. I didn't forget that this time. I was going to check if the nether was still safe. I didn't spawn near the lava, which was great, but it did spawn with something else. Everything I stored in the chest was still there and I just needed a couple more items to craft the dragon's eye. I had all the dust, the hat, the enchanted eye and was just missing 1 gem. I then tried to fuse an Aegis and a Cinder, but I'm stupid. I also found some more wisps, but they were so far away that I couldn't hit them. It felt bad because they often spawned only once every 2 days. I then saw a recipe how to get glowstone. You could only get the flare fin koi in the nether with a blaze rod, but I didn't know that and fished in a normal overworld to get the fish and the glowstone. After fishing for 10 minutes and no result, I gave up and enchanted it with more 7 XP. Oh yeah, I forgot to make return scrolls, so I made them with some paper and another pearl. 2 hours later, in my 96th attempt, it was time to make a ring of strength. It looked really strong. Okay, I'll stop with the terrible jokes now, don't worry. I then went to the Mega Tower again. It was a good move. I just wanted to check out the lost chest, but the loot wasn't worth it. I then went fishing with my blaze pike again and there obviously was no result. I did get some yellow dye, so I thought by myself, why not make a disenchantment table? I crafted it and disenchanted the Advanced Thorns chestplate. Afterwards, I put it on my dragon scale armor I made. I went back to the XP farm and enchanted my dragon chestplate with thorns and protection. I was tired of waiting for wisps to drop a little bit of glowstone, so I had to take a risk. I was going to look for another battle tower and immediately found one. I destroyed the spawners from the first floor and noticed I forgot to bring a weapon. I retreated but did get 1 glowstone. But then a miracle happened. I found a particle zombie near my house and decided to kill it for some XP or an axe or something. I killed it pretty easily and guess what it dropped? 3 glowing ingots. This was absolutely amazing. I had all the items for the dragon's eye. I could use this to find dragon dance and never die from fire again. Oh yeah, I also needed some more diamonds, so it was time to go strip mining again. I got back from mining with 13 diamonds. I put everything in the crafting table but nothing happened. The sword had to be full durability, oops. I retried it with a new sword and voila, the best bubble in the game. I immediately tested the dragon's eye and dude, it was amazing. I found 48 diamonds in less than 5 minutes. Afterwards, I was going back to the battle tower. It went really well and I broke every spawner. I found some really weird stuff in some chests, and for one thing you needed level 69 for 20. I mainly looted the chest for the Stone of the Sea, which makes you swim crazy fast and lets you drink water without getting thirsty. I just needed some prismarine to be able to make it. I also put on some iron armor to try looting the top floor of the giant tower. I got up and immediately mined down and dropped. I looted almost everything from 1 chest and used the recall potion. I didn't die. I checked out everything and got some pretty cool bubbles like a cross necklace and a balloon. I also made some warp scrolls because why not? I didn't even know what their uses were. And then I went to check out the nether again, but nothing spawned. I used the warp scrolls I made earlier to make some recall potions and got a new advancement. I went back into the tower its top floor and tried to loot the second chest. This time I did hear mobs. And guess how it ended. The last 4 times I died actually had more than 10 parts of footage, so I had to make some really rough cuts sometimes. At the start of attempt 97 I was mining a lot to find a dragon den. I did this by setting my dragon's eye to emerald. I didn't see anything, so I got back and slept. The next day I made a new dragonbone sword and made some more enchantments. Then a new event began called Balderdash. This might have been the worst event so far, since it destroyed a part of my house. They did drop a lot of nether quartz. I then fought an ultra mob that took my sword out of my hand, which was low-key scary. I'm happy it was a skeleton because it couldn't pick up my sword. Okay, let's just skip to the good stuff. I found some more dragons on my way getting prismarine somehow from the ocean, and I decided to kill them. I brought a sleeping bag to rest while fighting them. I didn't record the dragon fight because the recording bugged out, but I got some more skills. I finally enchanted my dragon armor since most of it had protection 4 and put it in a reforged station to upgrade its quality. Whoa, I'm watching all this footage back and like half of it is just farming XP from the X7 farm. How boring. I forgot to tell you guys, but I also made a flame dragon bow with some good enchantments on it. Here's a showcase of the bow. So after hours and hours of grinding, I finally did some exciting stuff again. I went to the big battle tower and my plan was to get the rest of the loot from a chest and dip. It actually worked and I didn't even take that much damage. When I checked out what I got, I found some purple ingots and I thought they were extremely valuable, which they are not of course, but I was happy with my improvement. So I got back to the tower and looted another chest. It didn't really have anything cool within it, sadly. I had a new goal when I woke up the next day, defeating the Wither. I was going back inside the nether to put a lava bucket down and fish in it for the first time. It went amazing except for me almost dying to a couple of cinders. Luckily a fairy was in the nether, so I healed. For the rest of the time it went great, but I felt uncanny and I left. I then went to bed and the next day I got soul sand and placed it down in front of my house to grow some nether wart. I wanted to go back into the nether to fish up some more soulstone, but then a spider attacked me. I have never been humiliated so badly before in my entire life. I got everything back and went in for a second try to fish in the nether. It went pretty well until some mobs came out of nowhere and attacked me. So I went back to the overworld not very soon after this. The nether is a scary place. I knew that it was time for a real adventure right now. I got a recall potion and my sleeping bag and left the house. After a bit of traveling I found an ocean biome. This was where I could catch the prismarine by killing sirens or fishing. I had the wrong fishing rod, so I went home. It's a pain that the recording bugged out again, but I did kill some sirens and a sea serpent with a bow. I made tight guardian pants and now it's a strength buff. I then went mining for a dragon den and no luck again, but I did get some more lava for my X7 farm. I did a bunch of boring stuff and then made a new weapon called a rapier. I heard it was the best endgame weapon if you had the right enchants. And then I went off to another path I haven't crossed yet. In 3 minutes I already found a new dragon. It was the first time it was actually aggro to me and I was legitimately scared. Luckily he flew away after a while and I managed to kill him not very long after this. I walked a little further and found a new biome with purple blocks. I looked on a wiki page and saw that golden bookworms would drop enchanted books and I found one. When I killed it he sadly didn't drop any books. I explored a little more and raided another battle tower, and a desert temple with runes, and another battle tower. I even killed my first golem. I got back home and checked out the loot I had. I made an advanced rune reader because I had a lot of those runes and some rune might even be a golem helmet. And yep, I called it. I tried to get all the stuff for the helmet and everything should be easy except for the music disc. I heard of a tactic that when you put a creeper in a boat, a skeleton could kill it so it would drop a music disc. But first I went to do a little more exploring. I did raid some more battle towers, but didn't do a whole lot after that because my armor was almost dead. I then struggled 10 minutes to get a skeleton to kill a creeper, which was wasted time, and tested out a grappling hook I made. I then went back home and was going to kill a skeleton nearby my house, but I didn't know this was my greatest enemy of all time. I hit the skeleton and my sword was gone. The skeleton somehow took my sword and oh no, this was terrible. I luckily got it back. Phew, everything was all... oh. Okay, let's not talk about that. He even put my armor on. Luckily I got everything back. 50 minutes into this attempt, I was going to explore a little bit more. I went the exact same way and eventually stumbled on a cooler looking desert temple. I broke some spawners and mined down, but nothing was there, so I left. Seconds later I found a battle tower, and when I defeated the golem, I got something called a ravaging essence. I explored a little more and killed another dragon. Those things are incredibly easy with a dragon's eye, but I only got 3 skills. What a scam. Some battle towers later I arrived at my house. I got outside and saw a rock fly. I really wanted to tame it because I discovered you could actually fly in this game. Here's some footage of me throwing random food at it so I could tame it with my... yeah, I don't know. I then made some water bottles since I was going to the nether to defeat a Keko demon. I wanted 2 regen rings and that was the only way to get ghost tears. So I got some sugar, some golden carrots and made a juice. I also tried to get the lost loot chest from the top floor and I didn't even die. So I went into the nether and wanted to explore a little more. I got attacked by some demon guys but explored a little more, and what do you know? I found a nether fortress. I bridged to it and I could hear all the scary creatures. And then I got attacked by the scariest mob so far, a flying skull. I immediately left and got in the portal. A couple of minutes later I came back just to fish up some fish and it went pretty decent. Some mobs did keep spawning like the fireball thing, and I kept getting the wither effect from a couple of spiders, so I decided to make the wither ring. And then I thought by myself, why not defeat a wither? I heard it was weaker than the normal wither, so it couldn't be that bad. This is the entire fight. It was such a mess and I couldn't see anything, so I had to TP out. I did come back a while later when I got regen and I defeated it in a couple of hits. Later I got some food and when I came back it was night. I ran to my house. The next day it was nether time. I wanted to kill a Keko demon, but before I could even take a shot at this creature, I was getting attacked by other mobs. I ran away before I got blown up. I still wanted to get that Keko demon. I could make a regen ring and be invincible. I got back into the nether for a 3rd time and the Keko demon was still waiting for me. I couldn't move because of his paralysis effect and was basically stuck. It flew away and I killed it, but the loot was nowhere to be found. So I ran back into my portal and the unluckiest thing ever happened. I had to kill myself because of this. The final attempt. Just so you guys know, I've recorded a lot of footage after a specific point, but I literally couldn't record anymore because my storage was full. I will show some screenshots after this of rare structures and cool stuff. So let's get right into this attempt. Nothing burned in the fire and I got everything back. I did some more fishing and then thought by myself that I could make a fishing farm. So I searched up a fish farm and created it. After the blood moon was over, of course. I finished the farm rather quickly but couldn't place down the water bucket. I needed a 1.12.2 fish farm, so I watched another tutorial and built that one. And it worked. When I logged in the next day, my house was on fire. This was probably because I shot with my bow in my house and I forgot to put part of the fire out. Everything looked so ugly now, but I didn't use most of the house anyways. So I moved my bed to another place with enough space in it and dealt with it. I then enchanted some more golden garbage and got a really good sword enchantment. Advanced Sharpness 2. After a bunch of enchanting and strengthened vitality, I then tested the AFK fish farm. I came back after 30 minutes and the loot was great. I got a mending fishing rod. I then did some more exploring and came across a new thing with some chests. They contained some decent loot and even some diamond wolf armor. I found a new dungeon-like tower with netherrack and soul sand instead of cobblestone. I thought that there was some kind of different boss at the end, but it was just the same thing as the battle tower. I even got a god apple. It then got nighttime and I found a dragon. I wanted to fight it, but a rock picked me up and I thought it was too dangerous for no reason at all. You know, I actually wanted to close this video off perfectly. There was no better way than defeating the ender dragon, of course, so I beat the game. From now on, this was my next and final goal. I upgraded my sword with mending and defeated another dragon. When I hunted for more dragons, I saw a new biome with tiny mushroom houses. There even were some flying pixies there and they dropped pixie dust. A dragon in a dungeon later, I made 7 Eyes of Ender. I now was going to look for the stronghold. I located the stronghold and was going to tame my first mount so I could get quicker to places. It was nighttime, so I first was going to get a bubble from a husk. I farmed the husk the entire night, but not a single special apple. The next day I made a start of an obsidian house that couldn't be destroyed for more chest storage. I got almost 10 stacks of obsidian from AFK fishing in the lava so I could make a pretty big base. I then stopped recording for a while. When I started recording again, I made it to the stronghold and put the rest of the Eyes of Ender in the portal. I also had a rock as my mount so that I could immediately fly when I got to the end. And I jumped in. I defeated the dragon and almost died to some strong mobs. I finally beat the game. I made the black dragon skill with a Bezor and got one step closer to making an Ankh charm, which would make me resistance against almost every effect. I then looted a chest from a desert structure with some cool bubbles in it, like a cobbled shield. Because I had so many wither skeleton skulls, I also fished in the nether a lot to get soul sand. I could make a whole lot of withers like that. So I got all my soul sand and hats and went underground this time to defeat the withers. I wouldn't make the same mistake again. The fights were really easy. I then flew with my mount for a while and discovered some new stuff like a cyclops that didn't drop anything useful. And an underwater doom-like dungeon that had amazing loot in it. I mainly went there to get the vitamins from the Elder Guardians. I cooked all the meat I found on the way back when discovering new biomes and found some pinky meat and made 6 battle burritos. I then spent another night wasting my time to get that apple from the husks. I killed some withers the next day and wanted to go to the end cities for a shulker heart. So I arrived in the end, made a platform so I wouldn't fall into the void and pearled in. Well, that failed pretty badly, so I had to get new pearls from my home. I got inside the end cities this time and had a problem. My rock wouldn't spawn. After 2 minutes and 46 seconds, it finally appeared out of nowhere and I was going to find an end city this time. The first end city I found had no ship and was tiny, but I might get lucky. I killed all the shulkers but had no luck. The next city I found was huge. I got into the ship and stole the elytra, but I had a new worst enemy, the Spectre. I just escaped death because the levitation was just enough to bring me to another platform. I would probably have died out of fall damage if that didn't happen. I killed some more shulkers and this time one actually dropped a heart, so I warped home. After 6 nights, I finally found what I was looking for the whole time. I got all my bubbles and gold and crafted the Ankh charm. I actually didn't do much after I created the charm. I was kinda getting bored of the game, so I defeated almost every mini-boss in the game. I also got a cool pet from one of them. I literally couldn't record any footage anymore because I had no space on my laptop. The achievements I got was finding one of the most rare structures in the game twice. I got 6 stacks of golden blocks from it and made a dragon force to create dragon armor. And yeah, that was it. The entire video. I had a blast creating this video and I hope you guys enjoyed. Oh yeah, I forgot to die 100 times. Well, time to die I guess. See you in the next video.